I just had a conversation with my psychologist, and it was very difficult to have. She noticed that I was losing touch with reality again, suffering from paranoia and grandiosities, I believe. And she told me that I should seek alternative forms of help because she recommended a more intensive treatment for me. And I got startled by it. I didn't fully realize that it's this bad. I'm really keeping myself strong. Not exactly sure why. But for some reason, I associate mental health or mental illness with something negative still. And I just try to get a grip on myself and have the right or good intentions towards others and myself. But I haven't been successful. I've been impulsive, and I believe that I live in my own world to a large extent. I've been more arrogant and aggressive recently. It's better to say defensive about my insecurities. And we'll have to see how what choice I will make, how I will react to her saying that. I'm not angry at her at all. She's just pointed something out I didn't see, and that's uncomfortable. So, reaction to what you just saw. I've thought about it for some time now. It's been longer than a week. And I must say, already during the conversation with my psychologist, I disagreed with what she was saying and that I needed an intenser treatment. But I didn't know if I could trust myself because I know how limited our perception is of herself. And her being a professional and a lot more knowledgeable might give a different and more informed perspective on my position and mental state. That's why I was so emotional. It hurt that I didn't see it coming and that a professional saw a lot of issues that I didn't see in myself. So to be more clear on what she confronted me about is that my will to work on myself and help myself through the treatment she was giving me was fading, and she didn't see me taking it serious enough anymore, which she saw as resulting in a sort of static nature of how I was developing, with ups and downs, and the downs countering everything that I did to progress. And she is right. We have been working for a year, and sometimes I do feel like there is no progress. But in reaction to those two statements, I started really activating and working on myself to prove what she was saying, and therefore also what I was defensive or worried about wrong. And by setting myself to action, I worked on doing as much as possible during the day because it would keep me out of my head. And as soon as I spend a day or several days thinking, I end up in these loopholes and rabbit holes that are often very convincing intellectually, but also very, very hard to deal with. I struggle with them, and usually I can judge myself in so many ways on those ideas, and the lack of movement you make because you're just overthinking constantly, inevitably over time creates a judgment by itself that you're basically just wasting your time because you are trying to work out how to move, but inevitably you never do. So I started doing, not without any problems. It was very gradual, and I have a lot of difficulty recognizing the smaller steps. But that was the main point, recognizing those smaller steps and patting myself on the back for it because they do amount to something. It just has to take enough time for you to actually recognize that. And me and my high standards, it's very hard to recognize these things. Very, very hard. So, also that I had been working on, to take it slow and be happy with that. Next to that, I talked with the people I trust. Believe me, those are not a lot of people. And I try to give them more or less the objective point of view of what has been said and my position, how I would have defined it myself. And I basically saw that they agreed with me, that it was going better, that I did grow to a certain extent in the past year, that I am in a better position than I was a year ago. And that made me more confident to get back to my psychologist and talk with her on how to at least make the most of our meetings. I made some points on why I disagreed with her and made sure to confirm to her that I was going to take it seriously, that I saw this as a fresh start to build myself up again and take my mental state seriously, because I have to. In my position, I have to take it seriously. So we worked on the strategies, or talked about the strategies that were relevant for me in my position. And we started off with a morning ritual. I did try to apply this myself, but she told me to really define it, to make sure that it becomes automatic in some type of way and effortless therefore, so that there would be a clear indication to myself that that would be the point where I start my day and work on the things that I expect from myself on a daily basis. She mentioned that it would have to be in the shortest dimension possible to make it more realistic and rewarding, and to help myself to gain some momentum. Next to that, she talked about the fact that I need to work on a set of aims for myself. First of all, defining the long-term goals and then dissecting the short-term goals from that, so that I would have a shorter dimension to work on a weekly or daily basis. This I will make a separate video on, to tell you what I've been doing. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.